All right, lads. So my journey from DESA to where I am now is pretty unpredictable. When I was at DESA, I had my heart set on not coming out to America. I was sick of education. But as soon as we had that Vegas trip, after that, my mind just changed. So right now, I'm a graduate assistant at UAH, which is a D2 school for NCAA. And a graduate assistant is essentially they pay for my degree and I work as a coach for them. But I did a year of sixth form before I went to DESA, and that helped me massively, I think, because I essentially had a year on everyone else. It just made me feel more mature. I just felt more ready to do it. But I don't think I'd do anything different. Although I only had like 3 months to prepare for getting the SAT done, doing my visa stuff after the Vegas trip, I still wouldn't change anything other than maybe doing that a little bit sooner, I suppose. But other than that, I think I went to a small Christian school called Bryan College in NAIA, and the football was decent. Obviously, I had to go to chapel 3 times a week. It was a very, very Christian school. Which, yeah, it sucked, but I mean, the football was worth it, and at the end of the day, my degree is the same as anywhere else I would have gone. But right now, I'm doing a master's degree in physical education. And it's a lot of work, but it's a free master's degree, and it's keeping me in the US right now. I found my missus my freshman year of college, and we're now engaged, so green card's on the way. As soon as we get married, that is. But what I'd suggest to all of you boys is don't take anything off the table. I took America off the table, I took uni off the table, and that was probably a mistake, because here I am now. I never thought I'd leave Durham, and I'm loving it here. I'm in Alabama right now. I was in Tennessee. Mrs. was from Florida, so we go to Florida all the time. And it's just a great place to be. So my long-term goal would be to be a head coach at a college. I'm not necessarily too fussy where. I could go any state here and still have a good time. Obviously, I'd recommend to you boys to come to America because I think it's class. Like right now, we've got 2 other coaches here at UAH, and they're both English. You might know some, John Carrier. The other one's a Northerner called Josh Horn. And I mean, it's just banter in the office, you know. So English is taking over America. So I recommend coming over. You can get paid for coaching, where back there you probably wouldn't get paid. Like I coach club as well, and I still get paid for that. So keep that quiet though, because that's probably illegal right now. But yeah, I definitely recommend coming to America as opposed to an English uni. Cheers, boys.
Hi guys, my name's Chris Greenslade, and I was part of the first cohort to ever go through DESA, meaning that I finished there in 2015. My pathway in getting there was I was an academy footballer up to the age of 16. I played for both Norwich and Colchester, and actually upon release from there joined personal best and decided to follow Toasty and Lee through to the DESA program. I think the reason for me choosing that program in the first place was initially I intended on going to America for university, and also it provided an opportunity for me to steer away from purely classroom-based learning, and there I saw it as an opportunity to develop skills outside of the classroom that I still use on a day-to-day basis now. What I actually studied at DESA was an A-level in human biology, as well as the extended diploma. And alongside that, I think one of the big benefits that I saw from being at DESA, particularly for me in the field that I am now, is the links to both the football club and to the external partners that it has, such as the university, as well as Norwich and other clubs in the area. So that allowed me actually to gain some work experience within the medical field, which is actually something that I needed to be able to get into the degree that I did. So after DESA, upon completion in 2015, I actually attended the British College of Osteopathic Medicine, which is the oldest of the 7 institutions that offers osteopathy in the UK, meaning that it teaches it in a particularly traditional way, and is one of the harder colleges to get into. And I think I would not have been able to do that without the support that was given to me by the guys at DESA, and also the skills that I learned alongside the education, which I think really put me in good stead when going to interviews, and certainly is stuff that I continue to use now. I think my experience of studying away from DESA and at university was that it's much more an individual based learning, so there's a lot more of an onus put on yourself to go out there, read research, and it's a lot more coursework based than actually school is. And I think something like the extended diploma, where a lot of it is coursework based and presentations and group work, actually puts you in very good stead when going on to the university of your choosing, if you decide to do so. And really, that led me on to the career that I'm in now. Actually, I took a bit of a detour. I finished my degree 2 years ago now, and spent 1.5 years working in international recruitment. And the reason for the decision there is that I wanted to learn a bit more about business, which is not something that was provided by my university education. And I think also the skills learned at DESA there really put me in good stead, because it gave me the ability to do presentations, to be comfortable in front of important stakeholders, and to liaise with people in a business world. And I think that confidence and the ability to stand and talk in front of people is definitely something that you learn from DESA, and the ability to communicate to all different types of people. And where I'm at now actually is I'm now work for and run my own business. I now work as an osteopath in the Norfolk area. We currently have 3 locations across Norfolk, and my plan actually is to expand that first county-wide and then country-wide, and hopefully have a number of franchises across the country. That's where I'm looking to long-term wise, and I think one of the big benefits that I've seen from DESA is actually the ongoing support that I've had from both Lee and Toasty. Lee is actually someone I consider a mentor, both on a personal and a business side, even to now. And it was actually one of the people that really assisted me when setting up the business in Norfolk. So I really appreciate that, and that's definitely something that is given to people when they attend DESA, and once they buy in, and they really appreciate their time there. I think my final bit of advice to anyone on choosing a pathway, that whether that be for now or whether that be long term, is making sure that you choose something that you enjoy. I think it's very easy nowadays to say, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. But if you're finding something that you particularly enjoy, then you never really work a day in your life, and that's something that's important. So I think anything that you don't enjoy is easy to give up. But if you find something that you can commit to and that you enjoy doing every day, then that's certainly the way to go. If there's any doubts in people's mind about whether DESA gives them a good pathway into a job or into a university, then I think use me as an example. And I know there are countless others of people from my cohort and cohorts further afield of people going to top universities or doing things that aren't necessarily sports related. One of the guys in my cohort actually went on to become a tax advisor and is now working at one of the UK's biggest pharmaceutical companies. So there are many routes now and many opportunities that are available from DESA. And I think the more time you spend looking into it, and and when you actually sit down and have a chat with Lee and Toast and Suss as well, and you'll see the opportunities and the experience you can gain from there. I certainly had a great time, and I definitely wouldn't have changed my experience.
Hello everyone, I'm Rob Sayer and I left DESA in 2016. Lee has asked me to send in a video answering a few questions for you current students. What did I study? At DESA I done the level 3 BTEC, whatever it was, the sport diploma or whatever, as well as a maths A level at the Durham sixth form. when going to DESA, I couldn't decide whether I was going to do A levels or not. But then when sitting down with Toasty and Lee, working out sort of UCAS points and all that sort of business, it made sense for me to do an A level to sort of top up my points, because originally I was thinking of going to university. What did I learn from my time at college? Lots to be honest. I mean, too much to put into words really, but I think the most important one for me was the social side of things. So being in a classroom or being on a football pitch with 50 lads the same age as me for 2 years straight, sort of, banter and just being social all the time, really sort of progressed me as a person, sort of how to deal with those situations, how to sort of become my own character and sort of be myself. So social side for that, I'd say was the main thing I learned from DESA. But also being in and around Lee and Toasty and the other coaches and adults around the football club, you sort of learn how to deal with adults in everyday situations, and they prepare you for what's to come after DESA. Whether that's interview stages or going off to university or whatever. It's just really preparing you for whatever social events are going to come up in the future. Would I do anything different? My friends and I, who from college, who I still keep in touch with, I think we all would pretty much say that college were our was our sort of best time of our life, really. We all loved it so much. So I'd say, for one thing, I would not necessarily do differently, but one thing I'd say to you lads is enjoy every moment, because those 2 years do fly by, and they really are some of the most treasured times of my life. I'd also say make use of everything, whether that's the football, the gym, futsal, training, matches, just all that time. Just make use of it all, because it's all given to you on a plate. When you're at DESA, the coaches organise you to have an hour gym session at the sports centre, or you've got 2 hours of training in the afternoons and everything. You kind of have access to everything without having to think about it. So now that I'm outside of DESA and outside of that environment, if I want to go to the gym or want to do futsal or want to play football, it's like a real it's sort of an add-on in life, and I have to go and do it myself. It's not really spoon-fed to me. I have to pay a gym membership, I have to travel there, I have to make time for it outside of work and everything. Whereas when it's at DESA, it's all on a plate for you. So I just encourage you all just to gobble it up, make use of every opportunity, and just make sure when you leave DESA you have no regrets. You're as packed out in the gym as you possibly can be, or you enjoyed all the futsal you can, or you took everything in from the coaches, because who knows what you go on to next, but it might not be as easy to get access to that kind of thing. Any additional qualifications or voluntary work? Apart from the coaching badges and refereeing stuff, which sort of came part and parcel with the course, the football side of it, I think the main thing for me was, or when I look back on it, what helped me the most in terms of moving on from DESA was doing work experience. Because I enjoyed my time at DESA so much, the half terms and such, I didn't feel like I needed a break, because being at college meant that I didn't need a break. I wanted to be there. I wanted to be there as much as I could, because I loved it. So in work experience, I didn't mind giving up my week to go and get some work experience in a company, and I actually got the work experience in the company that I'm at now. And off the back of that is how I got offered the job, not doing something like work experience might limit your opportunities. So I'd just suggest, getting out there really, and trying to get all the opportunities, use the time you have at DESA to expose yourself to as many opportunities as you can, and sort of just, go for them, attack them. Where did I go after DESA, and what did I study? After DESA, I went to M&A Partners, which is where I'm at now, which is an accountancy practice. I started, they gave me a full-time contract and a training contract, so got straight in with the studies as soon as I started work. I'm doing AAT, which is like the base level of accounting. I finished that after 2.5 years, and then I'm going on to, well, I'm now the best way through ACCA, which is the qualification you need to get in order to become a chartered accountant. So I'll be qualifying soon, but yeah, that's what I've done after. What am I doing now? Still here, still going 4.5 years on, still at the same place, loving it. What was my experience of this? So yeah, the thing I'd say is when you leave DESA and you go straight into work, like I did, you kind of think, oh God, everyone's gone to uni or whatever, and you think, oh, am I missing out? But no, I mean, there were so many flaws for going straight into work for me, because I was willing to not get into debt from university or whatever, and start earning straight away. And at that time of my life, that was the right thing for me. I don't think I needed to go to university. I just needed to start cracking with the career that I wanted to go in. Advice to young learners now choosing their career paths. Just kind of want to build on from what I just said there, really. Think of you, as a person, rather than what your mates are doing, rather than what your coaches or whatever, or your family are telling you to do. Just look internally and think, have I got everything I wanted out of these 2 years? Have I loved every minute of it? And then think, what do I want next? Do I want to start hitting the ground running with careers? And you have something in mind, that you want to do. And if that's the case, like it was for me, with accountancy, you then think, right, what's my best route into that? And you just go into research it. And no one else from my year group was looking at doing accountancy. So I just had to look internally at me and think what's right for me, because it didn't matter what others were doing. Everyone was going to uni or whatever, but the right thing for me was to go straight into this, because it was the quickest way into getting qualified. And also looking internally, I had that 2 years of, maxed out fun and just enjoying every day. So I didn't feel I needed to go to uni and have that adventure and have that sort of added excitement of moving away or anything, because I'd already had sort of 2 years of that. Also had a girlfriend, stable relationship, who I wanted to just stay in Norwich around. So for me, looking at me and me only, that was the right choice for me. So I just encourage you to do that. Look at what you want and what's right for you, and don't bother about what everyone else is doing. It's just about what you want to do. Long-term goals. So yeah, for me, I just want to carry on doing what I'm doing, get qualified, which should be coming up soon enough, and keep on progressing in the company that I'm in now. Trying to get to the partner level of that. And well, who knows, in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, it might be that I start my own business, might leave accountancy, do something else. I've got aspirations to start a brand myself of sustainable living. It's just one thing that I hold close to my heart. But yeah, just keep doing that, really. That's me. Thanks for listening. I hope I didn't drag on too long, but hope some of that was useful. If you want to chat to me about the career I took, or perhaps just, even if it's something completely different, just want an opinion of an ex-student, then you can contact me. My email is robert.t.sayer@gmail.com, or just get Lee or Toasty to give you my number and give me a call, because I'm always happy to help the students at DESA. Cheers, lads.
Hi guys, hope you're all well. Hope you're enjoying being back in college. I'm here to obviously talk about my career, taking it back from when I was your age to now, to kind of give you an end point. I'm a teacher of PE. When I was sat in your position, I kind of had an idea that I wanted to be a teacher. It wasn't kind of set in stone, it was just an initial idea. When I was in your shoes, I was studying an extended BTEC in sport, as well as an A-level in psychology. I think it was really important for me to kind of develop my knowledge from GCSE PE, and DESA definitely provided me that, with all the different units, looking at different sectors as well. It was really, really good. And actually, the units that you study now, they do relate to different sports sectors, in terms of jobs. So when you're sitting there doing an organising an event assignment, then potentially if that's something that interests you, then that's something that potentially after college that you may want to pursue. Exactly the same as if something like anatomy and physiology appeals to you, then maybe you want to think about going along the same kind of career path as me. So if I was to do DESA again, I think I would kind of take advantage of the tutors even more than I did. You're not going to be in an environment that you're in now again. You're not going to have tutors that are so invested in you than what they are. They will literally go for anything to help you. And because obviously there's a small number of you, they are able to do that. As soon as you leave, as soon as you go into a job or go into university or America, there's going to be a lot more people, a lot more students per kind of teacher or tutor. So make sure you do take advantage of that. What I mean by that is asking for their advice, asking for their opinions. They know a lot of people in a lot of different job sectors, and that was before they even started DESA. Now they've got like people like myself that are in sports sectors that can help you, and we are obviously happy to help, and I am happy to help if anyone is interested in obviously the career that I've got. Second thing as well, I think it's about, there's a massive thing within college about kind of following the crowd, especially kind of during free periods where you will just sit there and do very limited amount of anything really. And kind of the trend that you see is the ones that take that time for some studying or doing some extra work, whether they're out the back doing some sort of shooting or taking free kicks or doing some fitness work. I mean, especially for my year, for example, the people that actually put in the work, they have got further. And like I said, there's no surprise. The ones that work hard, you will get further. And you know that goes with obviously past college as well. The harder you work, the better opportunities potentially that you're going to get. So obviously once I finished my 2 years, I wanted to extend my knowledge even further. I decided to go to university, decided to study a sport and exercise science degree. Again, at that time, I had an idea I wanted to be a teacher of PE, but it wasn't something I was set on. Hence why I decided to do a sports science degree. I think the reason I did it was because it opened up lots of different windows. The units I studied, things like biomechanics, health physiology, exercise physiology, nutrition, it gave me kind of an insight into different jobs in terms of those different sectors and whether I liked it or not. As well, alongside my university degree, I did some part-time coaching. I think at one point I was at 3 different kind of multi-skills companies, teaching obviously in my own time. Some of it was voluntary, some of it was paid, but it was something I loved doing. And I knew that if I wanted the job that I'm in today, I knew I had to put myself out there. I knew I had to get as much experience as I could. And I know it's probably a phrase you've heard before. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And you know, that was the reason that I did kind of go out of my way to get in experience with coaching. And obviously by doing that, it kind of made me realise that yes, obviously my course interested me, but coaching was something that really, really interested me. And obviously coaching kind of led to teaching. So after the 3 years, I then came back to Norfolk and did a teacher training course. I did a school direct one, which literally within the first week, you're within a school and you're learning off the teachers, the qualified teachers there. If you were to do a uni-led course, it would be, first couple of months would be kind of learning how to be a PE teacher in a similar environment you are now. There'd be someone at the front just talking about kind of the theoretical side of being a teacher. For me, with my coaching, with the experience I already gained, by going straight into the deep end, that was something that appealed to me the most. That was how I thought I was going to learn the most. And obviously that's what I did. Going into teaching, especially PE, it's so competitive. Okay, that's something you have to know. I don't want to sit here and say, there's loads of PE teacher jobs in Norfolk. There really isn't. So if it is something that you want to do, you need to be really passionate about getting as much experience as you can now, whether it's voluntary work, whether it's coaching, as much as you can do now, that will help you. Okay, that's a guarantee. The more you've got on your CV, the more you've got to talk about yourself, the more you're going to stand out, and the likelihood of you getting an interview is going to increase because of that. And I still think that's the only reason I got an interview, is because my CV was good. Obviously, they go off a bit of paper, then they interview and they actually see you and kind of see the personality side of you. But initially, it's about what have you done from college through to now. And obviously for me, having that experience of coaching, having the experience of getting qualifications from lots of different sports, absolutely helped me in my pursuit of being a teacher of PE. So in terms of kind of looking forwards for me, obviously I'm now in a school. I've been in the school for 2 years now. It's been a bit of an interesting 2 years, but that's what it is. I mean, I've done a bit of normal teaching. I've obviously had months where I've been teaching from a screen, but it's something I absolutely love doing, and I want to continue that. In terms of progression, I'd look potentially eventually to be as a head of subject, maybe into a pastoral role as well, so things like head of year or head of house, and I'm sure you're all familiar with those terms, but that's something that would really interest me, and that's something that I'd want to do. So my advice to you, okay, I mean, it doesn't matter if you want to go into being a teacher of PE. It's purely about whether you want to get the job that you love doing. It's all about, again, getting qualifications that you want, getting the best qualifications that you possibly can that will help you within your pursuit of getting the job that you want. Again, it's about experience. Okay, it doesn't matter if there's a coaching opportunity come up from DESA and you don't want to be a coach. It really doesn't matter. Go get some experience. Okay, there's a thing called transferable skills. There's so many different skills that you can learn coaching that you could apply for something else. Okay, whether it's another sport job or whether it's completely different. Okay, you're going to learn lots of different things, and that will help you again to get that job that you want. I think as well, important for me, especially at your age, I researched massively into lots of different jobs. I mean, I was sat in your shoes and I was really anxious about, I don't really know what to do, and I panicked because of that. It really doesn't matter. As long as you've got kind of a rough idea of where you want to go, like I said, if anything pops up in terms of voluntary or some extra courses or anything like that, go for them, okay? Because the more you've got on your CV, the better you're going to be. And I know I've said it before, but that is a really important message to take away from this. And then lastly, about, and I'm sure you've heard it, it's not about what you know, but it's about who you know. And that is absolutely true. But that comes from getting as much experience and as much opportunity as possible, and really putting yourself out there. Okay, if you're one of those people that think, oh, I can't really be bothered to do that, then potentially you're not going to get something that you want to do, and you may end up kind of falling into a job rather than actually going out there and getting the job that you want. So that is it for me. Thank you for listening. Like I said, and I said before, if you have any kind of further questions and you want Lee to ping me a message, I'm happy to help you. If obviously being in a teaching role is something that interests you, again, if you just let Lee know, I'm more than happy to help you through that. If you want any advice of what to do, then yeah, just get Lee to give me a bell.
My name's Louis Henman Mason. I was very fortunate to be part of the first ever group at DESA, the class of 2015, the class that went to the St Andrews in Birmingham for the National Cup final, which was just one of the highlights in an amazing couple of years at DESA. Before DESA, I'd been at Easton College, so I was actually a year older than most of the lads in my year. Me and a few others had done a year at Easton, then gone to DESA. I didn't do too well. Being young, I didn't put my full effort into it, and I was very fortunate. I was given a second chance at DESA to go and work with Lee and Toast at the time, and then in my second year my dad joined, which was brilliant. They pushed me and they gave me a perspective on what I could achieve if I worked hard, and that's definitely pushed me on to what I've done since and where I've been since. So I studied the BTEC at DESA, I didn't do an A-level with it, partially wish I did, but is what it is. Did a BTEC, and then went on to do sports management at university. I was able to get a scholarship to go to Seton Hill University in Pennsylvania, which was, again, an amazing experience for me. Met some amazing people from different parts of the world, was able to travel, and had a great time. Was fully threw myself into it and was able to fully benefit from the experience. So I really loved it. I graduated in 2019 with my degree, and then I came back and I worked as a football coach at Shrewsbury School, which is a private school in the Midlands, which I absolutely loved. Again, another real positive experience for me. Worked with some great people, got to work with good players, under 15s to, I was working with under 15s to under 18s. So real good experience for me, working with different age groups and talented players who you could give information to, and it was really enjoyable for me. At the end of last academic year, so last June, I left Shrewsbury School. I was offered a second year. I really loved it, but circumstance meant that I left Shrewsbury, to which when I came back to Norfolk. At first, I struggled to find some work. I worked part-time at Sports Direct, which, again, the positive out of that was that it showed me, as much as the people were lovely that I worked with, I didn't want to be there, didn't enjoy it. So it kind of showed me how I really need to get my head down and work hard to do something that I enjoy. But during that time as well, I was coaching for PB. So thanks to Sufs and Lee and Toast, I was able to continue my coaching. I worked with Luke as well. Again, worked with some really good players, and that kind of kept me ticking over to where I am now, which is I'm a house tutor, boarding tutor in a state boarding school in Surrey. I started that this term, and I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoy working with the kids. The people I'm working with are lovely again. So I think that this experience that I'm getting now in the boarding house, kind of coupled with the coaching with PB and working at Shrewsbury School, has given me great experience and the tools to go and start my PGCE in September, which I've been accepted on to do my teacher training in secondary physical education. So that's kind of all led me to here. I've taken quite a scenic route. My long-term goals are to be a teacher. I'd like to be able to teach in different parts of the world. I'd like to be able to travel, and I'm really passionate about working with young people and giving young people a positive experience, especially in sport, because that's what's driven me since I was very young. And I think my long-term goal is to teach. Advice that I'd give to young people, or the students at DESA, or any young people, is that when applying for things, when looking at options, when taking the next step, whenever that may be, my advice would be apply for everything, because situations and scenarios change very quickly. I know people that went out to the States, but they went very late, so they weren't sure that's what they wanted to do until very late on. So things always change, and it's important that you keep your options open, because things change very quickly in football, in your careers, in life. So it's really important that you keep your options open, be very open-minded, continue to work hard, whether that's doing a job application a day if you're looking for a job, or doing fitness sessions every day if you're looking to progress your football career. Whatever it is, make sure you maximise your time, and always pursue something that you're going to really enjoy and love, because that's what's going to motivate you, that's what's going to drive you. It's your long term. If you're thinking about your long term career, you need to make sure that you're doing something you're passionate about, and you make sure you give it everything. That would be my advice.
All right, lads, Westy here. Speaking about your careers presentation, I just sent this video into Lee to give you a bit of a insight into what my career is. So while I was at DESA, I did the full extended diploma and also had my ICTA level alongside it. DESA was class for me to learn sort of what I wanted to do and what I had proper passion for. This mainly came in coaching, and Lee, James, Toasty and Matt Henman, who was there when I was there, helped me massively through finding what I wanted to do. They gave me those opportunities in coaching while I was still at DESA, and it's helped me so much. The biggest thing I'd probably say I learned from my time was the coaches teaching us how hard you'd actually have to work to get to your goals. While I was at DESA, I probably didn't put enough time in on the training pitches, and it showed. I should have and probably could have been in the Cat 1 teams or the FA Youth Cup teams, but I didn't put the time in. In my second year, I was probably a bit lax with my training. I didn't really turn up when I should have done, and that stopped me from being in those best teams. It hindered me all the way through with my football, and I could have been at a higher level than I am right now, but I am where I am, and I'm working hard now to get higher, even higher. It's not just about football, it's also with your work. Like, if you put the time and effort in, then you'll be able to meet your standards and even better. Like, if you boys think you can't get to uni because you ain't clever enough or whatever, you can. You just got to put that time and effort in. While I was at DESA, I sort of started my development of my coaching and everything. Lee and Toasty gave me the opportunity to start coaching the goalkeepers in my second year. So I was injured sort of towards the end of the second year. So Lee and Toasty said to me or asked me if I wanted to start doing goalkeeping coaching with the boys, and to which I did, and it's helped me so much. I'm still obviously here doing the goalkeeping coaching, and I've even set up my own goalkeeping business, ICS Goalkeeping, with another one of our goalkeepers, Aaron Watson. And these opportunities that Lee and Toasty gave me have helped me massively with that. I wouldn't have been able to have these opportunities if Lee and Toasty didn't help me through this. Since I left DESA, I went to UEA to train to be a teacher. Uni has been the biggest challenge for me that I've ever had. And to be honest, without learning what I did from the coaches, from Lee, Toasty, James, I wouldn't have got to the point that I am. I'm nearly about to graduate. I'm in my final year, and then I have my teacher training year next year. If you're not sure about going to uni, honestly, I would highly recommend it. Apart from the year we've been in lockdown, uni's been absolutely class for me. And now I'm about to graduate. It's set me up to sort of follow what I actually want to do. And without uni, I wouldn't have had a chance in getting into coaching, teaching, etc. Like, I wouldn't have had that chance. I'm also now part-time employed for ICS Coaching, who provide PE teaching to schools around Norfolk. This has been a class experience for me, as it's allowed me to experience sort of being in the classroom and teaching kids, basically, which is absolutely vital for my career of training to be a teacher. Like, without the experience I'm getting here at ICS Coaching, I would be at a much worse position in trying to get a job for being a teacher and everything like that. The job that I'm in is honestly, with ICS, is a top job. Matt, who's my boss there, he's absolutely class, gave me so many opportunities to progress my career. I'm now doing 4 days a week, 4 full days, get paid a good amount to just coach kids and be a PE teacher effectively. And he's gave me opportunities I never thought I would get. If any of you boys are interested in coaching or PE teaching, I highly recommend it. It's been a superb career for me so far, and I can't wait to keep going with it. If you've got any questions about coaching or PE teaching or anything like that, speak to me at training or speak to Lee and Toasty, and I'm sure they'd be happy to pass it on to me. To finish with, guys, my main advice to you lot would be, go and find what you want to do. Go and find what you're passionate for. It will be hard work for you to get there. There is no doubt about that. But you lot can do it. Even if you think you can only reach a certain standard, you can do better if you work hard enough. There's nothing stopping you from doing what you want to do. So go and find what you're passionate about and go make yourself a career in it. You will be able to do it. like I said, you can do that. All right. Cheers, guys.
Hi boys, I hope everyone is well. Lee asked me to do a little video on how I found my 2 years at DESA, how the 2 years helped me as a person and as an individual to get to where I am today, and just speak a little bit about my journey to where I've basically got to today. So if we go back to the start, I began DESA in 2015 after coming from high school. Also, alongside DESA, put my media studies A-level alongside that and done that for 1 year. Didn't really enjoy the A-level and thought it was a little bit boring. Didn't enjoy the environment at the sixth form where nobody really talked to anybody. It was sort of like a DESA sixth form thing and nobody wanted to interact with somebody coming from DESA, and I didn't really know many people there. So after the year, I got a B in that and decided to just stop that there and then carry on and focus on my BTEC and what I wanted to do after DESA. And I also didn't really enjoy the media study side. So in my work experience unit, I really thought about being a sports journalist and writing about matches basically. So in my work experience, I worked alongside the journalists who report on Durham Town games and didn't really enjoy it. Enjoyed watching the games of football, but then going home afterwards and having to write big articles about it didn't really take my fancy. So in my second year at DESA, I was captain of the Cat 2 team, which at the start of the year I was a bit like, oh, that's not really what I want to be doing. I want to push myself and be maybe in the under 18s, which I was in and around it for the majority of the year, but in actually a coaching phase rather than a playing one. And that was down to the support from Toast, who I spoke to and said, oh, would you need a hand this season? He didn't really have anybody else supporting him with that, and I came along and basically helped him do the warm-ups, any other coaching pieces. I'd done set pieces with him, really enjoyed it, really enjoyed being alongside him, and it sort of gave me a little bit of an excitement to go into coaching in the future. So I started with Jake Stagg, some of you may know, and Jack Fuller, some of you also may know him, Durham mini kickers basically, and it was this thing where local kids aged from about 4 to 7 would come to us on a Saturday morning at Aldous Park and play football basically for an hour. And we charged them £2.50 and the money went back into the football club, so I didn't get paid for it. But whilst doing that, the football club paid for me to do my level 1, which meant I was a qualified coach, which some of you may want to progress to go on to, and have recently asked how you go about doing that. So I got my level 1 from volunteering with Durham Town Youth, and out of generosity they therefore then paid for me to do my level 1. So I've done my level 1, and I think we had around 40 kids at the time coming to mini kickers. It was really quite a big thing, and from that me and Jack then set up our own Durham Youth team in a similar sort of age group, at under 8, so we'd train them and then play matches on a Saturday, and we really enjoyed it. I carried on coaching with Toasty that season, and then at the end of the season it sort of got put to me, did I want to do a university degree which was going to be online, but I could also be based at DESA and continue volunteering with the youth, coach at DESA in stages, also be around DESA. I liked the environment. I also had the support from the tutors, Lee, James, Toasty, and at the time, Matt. And that was something I really wanted to hang on to, basically, because I knew if I was going to go to a university, I wasn't going to be able to get that one-to-one support from anybody else. So I decided, me and Jack, my friend who was at DESA at the time, who helped set up mini kickers, we decided at the time that staying local and doing a degree and working sort of alongside DESA would be the best thing for us. As a result of that, we were the only 2 to continue doing that degree. We was the only 2 that signed up to it. Quite a lot of people sort of mocked us and was like, why are you staying local? We had our reasons and we thought that was the best thing for us. And
Following on from that, the following season, the first team manager said to us, "Oh, we're looking for an under-18 manager." And we was like, well, I said I'd love to do it because I helped Toasty last year. I knew Toasty didn't really want to do it for another year. So me and Jack worked alongside somebody called Wayne Anderson, who at the time was the first team assistant manager. And we basically took the games, took training with DESA, with that squad on a Tuesday. Then on a Thursday, managed the team, and Wayne was just sort of in the background supporting us and helping us in any way we wanted to. It was really difficult, to be honest, to start with, and well, all the students that we had from DESA playing for us on a Thursday night in the Durham under-18s were a year below us, so it's a bit like the second years at the minute, managing a first year team and trying to be successful with it and trying to help get better at football and as people and develop as footballers. So it was difficult to get some points across and to earn that respect, but instantly, because we were both, me and Jack, both senior figures at DESA the year before, we had that respect. It was a tight-knit group and we done really well. We came runners-up in the league that year. We got to a cup semi-final, which probably let us down in the end in terms of our experience in big matches. Being two 18-year-olds trying to manage a team in a cup semi-final was quite difficult, to be honest. So then we carried on doing the under-18s for the next 3 years, getting to more cup finals and winning a league was really good. I also, in my spare time, volunteered at DESA as well and ran Cap 2 with James, trained every day with DESA and coached at DESA. I also then got the opportunity to work at PB and coach with PB, which under Donny was the best thing that I could ever do. And as I started coaching at PB, I wanted to get better at coaching. So I decided to put myself through the level 2, which cost me about 400 quid at the time. So £400 of my own money that I'd earned, I then paid to do my level 2 to help me better my coaching career basically, and that allowed me to coach at PB, which I'm still doing. And as I was doing that, I could see a lot of other DESA students going to university and leaving DESA and not really going on to do too much with their lives. We had quite a lot of players from that year go to America and they've done really well. We had probably a high number in comparison to other DESA years that went on to do jobs and full-time employment and apprenticeships, which they wanted to do at the time. So a couple of them are builders, a couple of them are plumbers and scaffolders, and that wasn't really something I wanted to do, and I didn't really want to aspire to do that. The main reason was because my first message that was really installed into me from Pez was, he said to us on the first day of my first ever day at DESA, he said, all you've got to do in life is love what you do every day. And it really, straight away, I was a bit like, what's he on about? Surely everybody wakes up every day and just goes, oh yeah, I love that, or I love waking up to this every day. And then he explained it to me and I was like, yeah, actually, you know, these people might want to be builders and stuff, but they've got to work from the age of 18 to probably 70 being a builder every day, and I'm not sure I'm going to love doing that, or I'm not sure I'm going to love just sitting and working in an office, or I'm not really sure I'm just going to love and work in a supermarket all my life. So that message really stuck with me, and I really wanted to make sacrifices to be able to be in a position which I am today, where I wake up every morning and love coming into work and love my job basically. And I don't think there's many people in my year group at DESA that can say that they've been in a position where they've got a job and they love what they do every day. And like I just said, it took quite a lot of sacrifice, where some of you have already sort of like questioned why we're asking you to do things for free and get you doing volunteering and experience. I done volunteering and basically unpaid work from the age of 17 all the way, and I'm still doing things at the age of 22 free, just because it looks good on my CV, it looks good to the people that I'm doing it for. So if I'm doing a coaching session for somebody, it looks good on their business, it looks good for me. I've done PE lessons in schools, like infant schools and junior schools, free of charge because it looks good on my CV. I've done youth soccer camps free of charge because it looks good for me and it looks good for my business and it looks good for DESA and the football club. I've done loads of stuff that's been unpaid and voluntary work because I wanted to make a sacrifice to get to where I am today. And I think it's really important for all of you that are listening to this that you don't just get the choice to go to America, do 4 years in America, come out of America, and then you've got a 25 grand job a year, 25 grand a year job. You don't then just go to university and do 3 years or a 4-year course and then you come straight out of it and you've got a 25 grand a year job. To be able to get jobs you want to be in every single day and you love to do, you have to put in the work and the experience and get the qualifications you need to make you better than everybody else applying for that job. So if you want to be a PE teacher or a sports coach or an analyst or a strength and conditioning coach, there's probably about 10,000 other kids in the country that want to be that as well. So you've got to be at the top of the list. Yes, all 10,000 of them don't need to, don't want to be a strength and conditioning coach in Norfolk. You might have 100 people apply for that specific job, but how can you be at the top of that list to be able to go, yeah, I'm going to get the job? And basically when I applied for my role at DESA, there was other applicants and other people that could have applied for the job, but my experience that I got from the age of 17, thanks to the help from everyone at DESA and Dereham Town Football Club and the sixth form, was outweighed anything else anybody else could have really offered. So the 4 years coaching I'd done at DESA, unpaid work, the 4 years work that I'd done for Dereham Town Youth, trying to get kids into the youth programme, getting more kids playing football in the community, that didn't go unnoticed and probably gave me a real good thorn in my book and a chapter in my book, to almost say that this is why I should get the job. And the support that I've had from DESA and the football club over the years has really helped me to get to where I am today. But it's also important to remember that everybody can say that they've done this and they've done that, but actually carrying it out. So a lot of people in my year group said, oh, I'm going to do this when I'm finished, and still people say, oh, I'm going to do this, or I need to get this qualification, or I need to set this up, or I'm going to set my business up in this. But actually carrying it out and taking a risk and taking a punt on stuff and almost taking that jump to the next level is a massive thing to do. And I've said previously that quite a lot of people, probably about a year ago, were sort of questioning why I was still coaching and managing Dereham Town under-18s, giving up my Thursday night to travel across the region free of charge. And I just sort of bought into the whole process of, if I keep doing it, I'm going to end up getting somewhere. If I keep doing it, I'm going to end up getting somewhere. And that doesn't just go for coaching, it goes for football. If you're on the bench in a game for 6 games in a row, by the 3rd or 4th game you're on a bench, you're probably thinking, this isn't really what I want to be doing, or I might find a different team, or I'm going to go and moan to my coach, why am I not playing? But if you continue to put that work in, I can assure you and I can promise you that everyone in the world doesn't go unnoticed with their hard work. So whatever you want to achieve in life, put your mind to it, and even if there's no one watching and you're in the gym because you want to get stronger, or you're out practicing football, or you're gaining a qualification nobody probably you think cares about, I can assure you it doesn't go unnoticed. And that extra line in your CV that says, I'm a FA level 2 qualified coach, or I've got this qualification, or I've done this as my experience, it really doesn't go unnoticed. And I'm proof of that, because people that want different jobs to me, I've got more experience than them, and I've got more voluntary work than them, and that sets me apart from other people coming through DESA that just want a job and a nice easy life. So whatever you go on to do in your career, it's hard work, it's long work, and it's the work, more importantly, in the end, it's the work that you want to do and you love more than anything will be will be the end goal. Cheers.